There's a lot of people on TV that are surprised that people out there that don't seem like they regret their vote yet. What's wrong with these people? Let's just ask my first guest, Victoria Churchill. Do you regret your vote, Victoria? Welcome back to the James Show, but answer first, and then I'll ask the callers when I'm done with you. But do you regret your vote?
I don't regret my vote, no, and it's interesting to see how many people the mainstream media thinks should be regretting their vote that aren't. That's been one thing that I've definitely been tracking in my reporting and my, in my commentary work as well, is that, I think Americans knew what they voted for. They knew that Trump's policies were going to take some time to take into effect, but they're willing to kind of sit through the growing pains is my take on it.
Well, it's one thing for them to kind of bring it up and ask it, but they've been asking for about 4 straight days. They've really been pushing this narrative. It's like when they tried to say J.D. Vance was weird, and they just said it like for 4 days straight, and it didn't catch on, so they just dropped it and act like it never happened. So for those of you who aren't terminally online, here's Anna Navarro from The View saying.
Police departments in South Florida are signing cooperation agreements to be deputized as ICE. When we, I keep thinking, okay,
this is going to be
going to change the way folks. They're gleeful. Everybody I know who voted for Trump is gleeful and supportive of everything he's doing.
Yeah. Why is she surprised about that? Why are they surprised about that? What's the point of this angle?
Well, I think that it's to sow division among the kinds of people that are the difference makers in the election. Either they don't turn out to vote every year, or Trump was kind of the catalyst for them to go out and vote. And so, again, I think that's really a narrative that the Democrats are trying to push. But we're also looking at the fact that we've got some elections coming up here, just stuff we're looking at this week for the election that's happening next week, April 1st. April Fool's Day, yes, that is what it is. But, that is a legitimate date. Is we've got elections in Wisconsin as well as Florida. For Florida, they have a couple of special elections for House of Representatives seats. And then in Wisconsin, they've got a Supreme Court race. And so, even though most of the nation isn't really looking to go to the ballot box anytime soon, there are these races where people are kind of trying to say, this Trump vote, it was again, in their view, kind of accidental, and they're really trying to sow that division and, really show that people were only energized to go to the polls instead of, in support of Trump.
Well, I think they're trying to maybe give an excuse for the people that they have been misleading this whole time, and just saying that, they're voting for Trump because they're racist, sexist, bigot, homophobe, or anti-LGBT, or some other form of xenophobia. And when it comes out that we're all ecstatic about the government being cut and waste being cut and the budget being cut and the border being tightened down, and, we're not the ones that are running around drawing swastikas everywhere, that could be confusing for the people out there who bought into that narrative.
Absolutely. And again, as you point out, it's the people that are unhappy with the current administration that are going out doing things like protesting outside of Tesla dealerships and spray painting Nazi on cars. And, the people on the right see that, again, as a confirmation that the people that they see as radical shouldn't be in power.
All right. And then here's the other cool thing I wanted to talk to you about, Victoria Churchill, is a new poll shows that among 18 to 29-year-olds, Donald Trump has 52, almost 53% favorability ratings. Is the next generation going to be Team Red?
Well, there's been polling that's been looked at for quite a long time now that Gen Z in particular is trending more conservative, of course, than millennials. I myself am Gen Z. I'm a cusper, so I just turned 28 a few weeks ago. So, that puts me right on the cusp there of the millennial generation versus the Gen Z. And, this is really something that I've fought throughout the majority of my life, is telling people that free markets and limited government are really the winning message. And I think more people are catching on. There is, of course, this division that we look at between the genders, which I think still has some time to kind of come to more of a balance, where it's actually young men that are trending more conservative, but young women aren't necessarily. And so, that's still definitely one thing that people that follow politics or follow polling are still going to be paying attention to. But overall, I think this is a good thing. And, hopefully, obviously not just in Washington, but in state legislatures all across the country, there was steps made for more conservative governance that, believes in limiting government, like I said, that believes in letting businesses kind of thrive and not stepping in their way with lots of burdensome regulations. And so I think that if people see the good things are happening, not just in Washington, but also out of their state legislatures, they'll be wanting to vote for conservative policies moving forward.
All right, Victoria Churchill, this is the litmus test on how old you are. Have you ever owned a phone with buttons?
I did. My first phone was actually a sidekick phone, so it did have actual buttons on it.
Oh, wow. What year was that?
Oh, gosh. I want to say
Sidekick.
probably yeah, it was the one that kind of flipped out, and so you actually had the full keyboard.
Yeah, it slid out. It slid to the side.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. So, yeah, my kids have never even used a phone with buttons there, so you're ahead of them. Thank you very much, Victoria Churchill, breaking it down.
Thanks so much.
Who are you with these days? Young Voices, and I know you were with the New York Post during election season, but who are you working with these days? Where do we find you online?
Now I'm the national political reporter at Upward News. They're a fun young startup, actually run by a bunch of Gen Z and millennial types like myself. So we're doing some good reporting. So check us out over there.
All right. Thank you very much. There she is, Victoria Churchill. Appreciate your time yet again on the James Show. The next James Show listener meetup is tomorrow. It's going to be happening at Plano Sports Tavern, 7 p.m. or later. You don't have to get there at 7 p.m. We're not doing anything special. In fact, we're not really doing anything. The media seems to be shocked that you don't regret your vote. I mean, they're going out there telling you every day is the apocalypse. Every day it's fire and brimstone and discrimination and hatred and bigotry. And it's just got to, like, this is the picture they're trying to paint for you in the news. All this stuff's terrible. Did you see 60 Minutes? Well, we have dead Palestinian children and we have people getting fired from D.C. and they're losing their job and they don't know where they're going to live. And you have these nice young people getting deported who you're going to starve if we keep deporting them. We're on the cusp of the next big famine. Jasmine Crockett said you would starve without illegals last week. No, see, media, this is actually what they did vote for. This is actually what all the people, like in the mass of flyover country that you skip over when you go from D.C. to L.A. and back or whatever. No, they were actually voting to secure the border. And these people were actually voting for some of the people that aren't here legally to be sent back to wherever they came from. And they were actually voting for the government to go through and fire some of the people that weren't absolutely necessary, and some people who were spending tax dollars that needed to be retained, canceling contracts, canceling leases, canceling the ownership of buildings and all these other assets to slim down the government. No, this is exactly what we voted for. I think the cognitive dissonance comes because they either honestly think themselves or are trying to push the narrative that the voters for Donald Trump were going based on racism, sexism, bigotry, some bigotry of some sort. And now that we're not running around, I don't know, burning crosses or doing anything white supremacy, I think maybe you're shocked. And I don't mean you, I mean the media. What do you think? Do you regret your vote? I'm not shocked at all. People are getting deported. Is this, you really voted for people to just get rounded up and sent to El Salvador? Well, some of them, yeah. This is Ernest in Dallas. You're on WBAP. Do you regret your vote?
I do not. But I was trying to figure out if you really think all these people that got laid off, they don't regret their vote?
Well, according to what we've been told in interviews about...
No, I'm just asking you.
I know, and I'm answering. Can I get like a whole sentence out, okay. Ernest? Calm down. Dang.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry.
That's all right. So about 92 to 95% of them were actively donating to Democrats and voting Democrat, registered Democrats. So there is about 5 to 8% of the people getting laid off that may have voted for Donald Trump. Yeah, I bet you they might regret it. Or they might think I'm an acceptable loss for a bigger cause. I don't know. Some of them might regret it, sure.
And then the other thing was, so all these town hall meetings that they're having, and they're having people shout down the Republicans, are they all going to the same meeting? Because the story is that it's all the same people going, that they're hiring people to go to the Republican meetings to shout them down.
Well, some
you really
people,
think that's happening? Some
people are hired to go to attend meetings. Some people just get like a little $10 stipend, or they get a free T-shirt, or they're already part of these other organized groups. And so some of them get paid, some of them don't. I mean, We've known that for years. Usually when people come up and they're all on the same page and they all have the same script and they're wearing the same T-shirt, someone in that room's getting paid. Definitely not all of them. I don't think anyone's making that case. But there is, whenever you see a level of organization like that, it betrays some funding somewhere.
That's all I needed to know. Thank you very much.
See, you get what he's trying to say. See how angry people are? They totally regret their vote. They're going to town halls and they're shouting at the Team Red representatives. No, that's you. That's Team Blue people going to the town halls. There's not like the Republican Party, no one wearing a Republican Party shirt that's going and shouting at Republicans at these town halls, Ernest, right? How many of these people shouting at their town halls do you think are Republicans that are upset?
How many Republicans are upset? I don't think there are a lot of Republicans that are upset. I think there still are some. For you to say that none of the Republicans are upset, I don't believe that. I know some that are Republicans that voted for Donald Trump and think that he's gone way too far on the other side. You either go one way or you go the other way. But I mean, he went all the way to the other side when he got in. He said he wasn't going to do that. He was going to draw the nation together, but that lasted about the time.
Yeah, I also notice people drawing the nation together usually means they implement policies I prefer. That doesn't even mean anything. Like none of us know what policy you're talking about when you say that.
Okay.
Well, there's a conclusion built into your complaint. Like, why don't you like this guy? Well, I thought he was going to draw us all together. What does that even mean?
We were going to come together at least as one. We weren't going to keep on fighting like we are now.
We're not fighting.
Get up in the morning.
See, this is the thing.
We're not fighting.
We are not fighting. Hang on. Listen.
Are fighting just as bad.
Are Republicans setting cars on fire? Are Republicans screaming at town halls? Are Republicans? Hang on a second. Let me finish. Let me. I can turn you down. No one can listen to you, Ernest. Are Republicans gathering every weekend and having just a grievance of the week? Are Republicans the one that are blocking highways? Are Republicans the one with foam core signs down at City Hall and like 10 of the towns that are listening to me right now? I mean, I was going to play a bit later in the show of just, hey, look, it's random protester. It's weekend protester. And here's the deal. I'm going to try. Ernest, are you still with me? I want you to listen to this, and I want you to tell me what they're protesting, okay? Listen to this.
We charge you with genocide! We charge you with genocide!
Yeah, okay, so they're fighting against the genocide. What are they protesting? Is it immigration? Is it racism? Is it LGBTQ rights? Is it Palestine? Is it Ukraine?
Dumb Democrats.
Say what?
There's dumb Republicans and there's dumb Democrats.
Where are Republicans doing that?
You take clips of the ones that you know that are the craziest people, and then you play them. They do it on both sides. I'm not saying
No, they don't.
Democrats are
Listen,
100% right.
All right, here we go. Here you go, Ernest. When Elon Musk, for all of his entire life until about 5 years ago, was perceived as a Democrat, were Republicans running out there setting Teslas on fire and scraping swastikas on them?
So you're talking about Elon Musk.
I think I made my point. Thank you very much. 800-288-9227. 800-288-9227. I'm James Parker. It's News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. We'll continue taking calls on whether or not you regret your vote, because you're being told you're supposed to. Why aren't you regretting this by now? 800-288-9227. 800-288-9227. My next guest is a restaurant industry expert, Derek Sims, back on the James Show. And Derek, I'm concerned here because, let me play the official Beef song. We have an official Beef song? Yeah, Beef has its own theme song. I don't know if I think from the commercials we got in the 80s. I think of this song whenever beef happens. I had to look it up, Derek. This is from Aaron Copland. The whole movement is called Hoedown, but it's broken up into little parts. And this is the second one, which I think is called Billy the Kid? Something like that?
Now you're dating yourselves. I remember this.
Yeah, right? So, and it went from Sam Elliott to Matthew McConaughey. But here's why I'm bringing up beef here. I hear the prices are going up. Is this something I should be worried about?
Yeah, we hate, as restaurateurs, we hate this because it does go up for us, and we have to pass it on because we have to make money, and it's required for us to turn a profit so we can stay open. But that definitely lowers the amount of people that want to come dine at our restaurant. So it really hurts us in the long run. We'd rather have cheaper beef than more expensive. But it's an unfortunate reality of the inflation that's happening, and the ranchers just have to charge more to get it to us, and we have to charge more to get it to you.
What's the cause of this?
Well, it is a commodity that floats up and down, a lot like oil or anything else. And just the cost of insurance, payroll, the land, everything, taxes, everything adds to the bottom line, and that requires them to raise the prices. Now, you have to understand how the beef market works. You can actually, there's like 4 grades of beef. There's prime beef, choice, select. So some restaurants are going down to lower quality beef. And so some restaurants look like they're not charging more, but really they're giving lower quality. And you can taste it. If you really focus on it, you can taste the difference between like the lower quality beef and the prime beef that we use at our steakhouses, like here in the Frisco. And, we just can't compromise that. But other chains and smaller places can do that. And that's the difference, really, that's the hard part. But I cannot, as a restaurateur, I cannot sacrifice quality for price. I just can't do it.
Does this have anything to do with the tariffs?
Not yet. No. This is all stuff coming from local ranches here. Most of our stuff's local ranches. So we have a deal with we have different local ranches that come to us, and every one of our guys that come to us are charging more. So
because I've seen some restaurants are like, yes, we just shipped this in from Argentina over the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, you could bring some stuff over, but that's really hard to travel that far. And, they do freeze dry it and stuff like that. So there is ways to save money if you bring it from overseas. Tariffs would probably change that too, but the best beef, the best prime beef is USDA grade prime beef is coming from local ranchers close to that restaurant, to be honest with you, or within a state or two,
Derek, do I need to go buy some cows?
Buy a cow. Yes, you can make some real money. It's like tuna now. Cows are like tuna.
All right, Derek Sims, is there any chance that the price can go back down, or are we just stuck up here?
I think it'll go down. It will go down, and it's just going to take time. And it's like anything. Oil goes up, oil goes down. And look at oil now. Oil is coming down, and that's going to help the tractors and all the stuff that makes the operations run at a ranch. And then the reverse effect of that, the beef will go down. So it will go down.
Well, the other way I see some of the restaurant industry maybe taking a hit here is losing some of their workforce to deportations or self-deportations and higher work costs. How's your labor cost handling out there, Derek?
Well, I can't speak to that exactly because, I'm on the restaurant side, and we still have plenty of people, none of our staff, and we do have some people that that may not be 100% on the legal side and the kitchen side, but they are never deported. We have no problems on that side of things. I mean, I know I hear about it a lot, but we haven't had any problems with our staff, and we have over 250 employees. So
just anecdotally speaking, I don't think I've heard of any raids or any deportations from restaurants themselves. I guess y'all would probably be more impacted by the middleman, the meat packers, or the guys that cut it up between the ranch and you.
Yeah, I think the way I feel about it, I think people that are doing good and working and keeping their nose clean are not having a problem, and I think the ones that aren't, that's what they're targeting. That's the way I understand it. And so I haven't had a problem with that at all. But yeah, probably maybe someone that has some felonies or those kind of things are having trouble.
So something else that's come up restaurant related a lot lately is how tipping has gotten out of control. I see an avenue for restaurants to open up and brag that, we won't charge tips or we have some sort of different take on that. Is there any adjustment from the restaurant industry to the complaint about tipping?
Well, there is a kind of a two schools of thought. In Europe, they don't tip, but they charge a service charge per person. The problem with that is, the restaurant has the tipping system is it's a little funny because people think when I tip optionally, they think that people are only getting paid $2 or $3 an hour here in Texas. But really, the servers that are tipped are actually making the most money of anybody in the restaurant, more than the kitchen staff, more than the managers sometimes. They do make plenty of money, and the tips are optional. But some people tip less and some people tip more, but it averages out at the end of the week that they get the most money of anybody. So it's a little misguided in that respect. What happens in Europe is they don't want to deal with that. And so what you do is if you've ever been to Europe, I'm sure some of you have, listeners too, there's just one server for 8 tables, and the service is just not as good. The service quality is just not as good. Not all the time. You can have someone stellar, but it's just not as good. So when people are running around and you just want that ketchup bottle or you just want that fork, you'd be thanking people when you at least I have a service. And remember, you don't have to tip. It's optional. You can tip 15, 10%. You can give what you think you should give. but the average person gives 18 to 20%, and that averages out almost foolproof every week. And the wages are set the way their wages are set so that the payroll. Remember, restaurants only make 3 to 5%. We don't make a lot of money, so it's it's not something we can incur another cost on. And what will happen if we incur the cost, if they force us to do it, the restaurant will close, and that's just the unfortunate fact. And that restaurant that you like to go to will not be there, and you'll be at home cooking for yourself, and you'll be wishing that you had that tip opportunity again.
All right, what's your home base up in Frisco?
Yeah, we're in Frisco, in the Star, and we have a couple of other areas here. So,
thank you very much, Derek Sims, restaurant industry expert. Appreciate your time on the James Show.
Thank you.
Got worried about the price of beef. I had steak last night. But you know how they have the 3 levels? They have like the super nice one and the mid-grade and the bottom. Oh, at Parker household, we just we love that bottom tier. That's the James tier. I aspire one day to make it all the way up to the prime, eat that actual good stuff. I also, one day, I would like to have like a new car instead of buying a used car. These are things I aspire to. Like, I already made the first big leap in life. I went from an Android to an iPhone, and, you know, I just can't go back. Why does the media think you would regret getting rid of USAID, funding a global warming coloring book in Liberia? Why do they think you would regret scaling down the Department of Education that has made our kids dumber and college less affordable? Why do they think you would be against locking down the border and just stopping to what was a wave to a small trickle of illegal immigrants coming across the southern border or the northern border? Why do they think you wouldn't like that? This is right in line with what he promised. You know, like, no one voted for Elon Musk. No, Elon Musk was standing next to him for like the last 4 months of the election cycle. He was speaking at his events. He was wearing the Doc MAGA hat and his weird South African accent and jumping around like a cartoon character. No, I think they knew that they were getting Elon Musk. I think they wanted that. I think they wanted all these cuts. But just so you know, I'm not making this up out of thin air. This is Ana Navarro. She's usually on The View, but she's on, I don't know, someone else's podcast. Just shocked that they have no regrets.
Police departments in South Florida are signing cooperation agreements to be deputized as ICE. When I keep thinking, okay,
this is going to be
going to change the way folks. They're gleeful. Everybody I know who voted for Trump is gleeful and supportive of everything he's doing.
Isn't that a good thing? What? Why do you see that we're all gleeful? And your side is running around setting Teslas on fire and blocking the highway and protesting every week and screaming about a genocide in Gaza and this is what you do for your weekends now. And we're not the upset ones. We're the happy ones. So here's my theory. This is cognitive dissonance. This is them expecting because they've been told and they've believed that you were making your vote based on hate. You were making your vote based on fear and anger and antipathy toward people who are different than you. But really, you were just voting to lock down the border and cut government spending and maybe the Department of Education, a couple other, priorities here and there that he's just going down the box, ticking them. So you're not surprised. But remember, they were expecting right-wing death squads. I kid you not. This was back just in July.
And this is a president who has activated pro-Trump paramilitary groups that, wear insignia and T-shirts and hold placards celebrating literally right-wing death squads, right? This is a president who has talked about absolutely using the Justice Department to go after his rivals.
Yeah, look out. Right-wing death squads are on the way if Trump wins. And then here it is, Trump wins. And there's no right-wing death squads. There's no vast cloud of vandalism that is following around the Trump nation. That's happening in the other direction. It's the other people that are running around. It's your side that's scratching swastikas on the side of Teslas, that's setting charging stations on fire, that's screaming in the street, that's screaming down town halls, that's screaming down public speakers on university campuses. That's got to be something that'll wake some people up at some point, to constantly be told that you're the angry one. And then when they look out the window, they see the angry one's not you. It's the people that were warning them against you. Do you regret your vote? 800-288-9227. 800-288-9227. Coming up next, Jeremy Rosenthal, my legal expert for The James Show. It's News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3.